Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Serious Film Critics. My name is Sam.
And I'm David.
And we're joined by an extra special guest today. It's been a little while since he's been on the show, but we'd like to welcome back our good friend Adam.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Oh, it's going well, man. It's going well. Welcome back to the show. So what has it been, about 11 months, I guess?
No, I've been gone for about 9 months. I was over in Spain teaching, so it was a good experience. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
God, overseas travel, like, good for you, man. I've been doing a whole lot of nothing the last 9 months. So.
Thanks a lot.
That is awesome. Well, it's great to have you back, and you are back for an awesome episode because we've got a real doozy here. We're doing a review of Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. We're going to kick things off with a couple choice trailers, and then we're going to finish things off with a little movie trivia in honor of Adam's return. So, alrighty, boys. Nothing else is going on. Should we kick this thing off?
Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
All right, let's jump into these trailers. So the first one we're going to be talking about is 9/11, the Charlie Sheen vehicle coming out, strategically coming out on September 8th.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is the weekend of September 11th.
It's got to hit that opening weekend of September 11th.
That's,
yeah, and who's directing this?
It's some guy named Martin Guigui.
Yeah, Martin Guigui.
He hasn't done anything.
It doesn't even sound real.
He did some Jake LaMotta film called The Bronx Bull or something.
Oh, God, was it like a sequel to Raging Bull?
I don't know.
Haven't seen that one.
Not something worth watching, I'm sure.
Yeah, but anyway, what did you boys think of this trailer? So it's coming out, and it's got Charlie Sheen, it's got Whoopi Goldberg, it's got anybody?
Luis Guzman.
Oh, Luis Guzman, is he like an elevator op or something?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I figured it was only a matter of time till they start making these movies from inside the World Trade Center. I mean, how long do you think time? I mean, how much time do you think has to go by to make it so it's not like disrespectful?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they've made two already? At least
they made two right after it came out.
Well, that was like glorifying the people that
yeah,
Flight 93.
And they made World Trade Center, and neither one of those got bad reviews. So
I guess this
think
one.
I think they were tasteful.
This one definitely doesn't seem to be glorifying. I think it seems to be more going straight for the melodrama.
Yeah, it's like a disaster melodrama. I mean, they're in an elevator like about to die. I mean, it seems like it's really playing off the whole disaster, like showing the trailer, the towers falling and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something they did in the other two films.
I don't think so either. Getting the raw footage from the early show with all those guys.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going for much more of a just a bad movie angle here.
Yeah,
it felt
like a very low taste.
It felt like one of those like Kirk Cameron movies like Left Behind.
Yeah.
I know we reviewed that on the podcast. It feels like something like that. That's just going for cheap melodrama.
I wonder if they're gonna have like CGI of the towers falling or something.
Oh,
they might just use news footage.
Yeah, but I can imagine them doing some CGI at the plane crash.
Yeah.
Well, just how disrespectful can we
imagine
be?
like Charlie Sheen would be like at his desk and he sees the plane like flying into, and he's just like a wide shot of him.
Well, no, he's in the elevator. I don't think he even sees it hit. He's in the elevator the entire
they're
time.
on the elevator.
Oh,
Well, whatever.
okay.
Someone might see it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I could just see that going, like Luis Guzman in the elevator, like, what's going on, man? Like,
Well, it even showed in the film the elevator was falling, and they're all trying not to die.
The look on Charlie Sheen's face when the elevator is about to fall, it was awful.
And he makes that joke. It's like, it's not the fall that kills you.
yeah, I don't think that's even supposed to be a joke. I think he's like playing that. I don't know.
It's like the sudden stop or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Yeah, it just does not look. It almost doesn't look like they took it seriously, but I think they. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's next is like a horror movie, and then imagine like a World Trade Center movie, but there's like something loose in the building.
That'd be a pretty good twist if that actually happened in the movie.
There's like a containment lab in the bottom floor.
It's like a top secret government lab.
Let's out like a xenomorph or something into the tower. The government has to knock it down to kill the xenomorph before it gets out.
Yeah, the impact of the plane like rattles unleashes the beast, and something's coming to get everybody, but. It looks really bad, and the visuals look terrible. Like, it just looks like shoddily filmed.
Yeah. I can't believe this is getting like a wide theatrical
Yeah, that's crazy
release.
to me that this is getting a wide release. And, like, Whoopi Goldberg doesn't it looks like a wig, or, like, that doesn't
Yeah, she looked really weird in this.
Yeah,
How old is Whoopi?
She's gotta be old. 50s,
I feel like
60s.
she's probably older than we might even think. I feel like she might be in her 60s.
Yeah.
But I don't really care enough to look it up.
Yeah.
But she's old. Yeah, it just looks really bad. And I don't know, probably not the most tasteful thing in the world.
When did they release the other two 9/11 movies? Were they around 9/11, like the actual date?
1993 came out right after, and World Trade Center was 2006.
No, but like in like the time frame of actually, this is being released on September 8th.
Oh, I'm assuming they didn't come out on like September 11th, like right around.
Probably.
That time.
I think that's like the most distasteful thing about the whole thing is when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I'm
movie-
sure they would release it on September 11th if that was a Thursday or Friday too.
I bet they would have like a midnight release on Thursday, September 11th or something. But this movie out of the other two too blatantly feels like just a cash grab. Like they're just going for money here. Like the other two, I think we're actually trying to have a little bit of artistic integrity to them, and this one just seems like, let's just make some money off this.
Yeah,
Like,
let's just play on people's emotions. And
yeah, but it looks really, really bad. So, all right, let's move on and talk about the other movie we're gonna be. The other trailer, I should say, we're gonna be. What's this called again, Dave?
Only the Brave, the Granite Mountain Hotshots.
Yeah.
It's quite a title.
It is. It's a mouthful. I hadn't heard of this one.
I haven't heard anything about this, and then I just saw the trailer and I was like, I thought right from the beginning when he said that we're the SEAL Team 6 of firefighters, that was just like, are you kidding
seriously.
me? Like,
So I guess it's about like, what are these guys like?
They're
first responders?
Yeah, they're guys that go out into like nature, out into like the rural areas, fighting forest fires. Where you can't really bring like hoses and stuff out there. You got to rely on like cutting back brush and using airplanes that drop water and stuff like that. It's a really dangerous
Yeah,
job.
I know about the airplanes dropping water. Like, why are these guys necessary?
Well, what
Like,
they do is they go out there and because the forest fires, they don't really feed off the trees. They feed off the brush that's on the ground. So what they do is they go out and they clear brush out in the areas where the forest fire is going to come. And that kind of creates a barrier where the fire... I mean, I'm not an expert on this,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that's what they do.
Oh, that's interesting. But so that's what this movie's about. And it's got some big names in it.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
Josh-
Josh Brolin, that Miles Teller, and
Jeff
then
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges is in it, looking
Yeah.
like old and crusty.
Yeah.
Some other big names. So
Rooster Cogburn.
Rooster Cogburn, True Grit 2, the firefighter story. But yeah, what do you guys think of this one? Do you think it looks good or?
I think it looks all right. I mean, I'm not going to see it. There's no way I'll go see it, but I don't think it's a flaming pile of
I
dog
just thought it
crap.
was so
Pun intended.
cheesy.
Yeah, I know.
Like so cheesy. It reminded me of that Mark Wahlberg movie, which I guess probably wasn't that bad, where he's on the oil rig or whatever. Like Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah, I heard
Horizon.
people like that movie.
I mean, I guess that was a good movie, but it's just like, it was like Only the Brave. First of all, the title Only the Brave, like, it's really playing on the whole firefighters are like these, like, wow.
Yeah, you feel like they're really going to glorify these guys. I mean, which is, it's not like
It's
a
okay.
bad thing.
But it just
Like,
makes
it's
it
not-
look cheesy.
Yeah, it does look cheesy. And even that first line where he's like, I saw a bear coming out of the
That
flame.
was terrible.
yeah, it's a flaming like spirit bear, like just charging down
I
the
hope that
mountain.
that's a major plot point in the film where that thing is causing forest fires and they got to kill it.
I hope so. Yeah, because this thing, it's like a flaming bear. Obviously, it doesn't look real. Like, it looks like a ghost or something. And it's just charging in slow motion out of the woods. And Josh Brolin is just getting emotional about it.
Yeah, like the whole rest of the film is like realistic, and then he has this one scene right in the beginning where he's talking about a bear made of fire.
Like, you want to make a good movie. Like, have that. Like, I hope that bear is causing it. And they got to,
Yeah.
fight it. And it's like,
Yeah, that's the story, the
they have
true
to
story.
summon, like, a water bear.
Well, it seems like in the movie, Rooster Cogburn was like the member of like a former hotshot squad. He's putting together like a new crew of like young guys because that was like, I don't know if you were paying attention to the
Yeah.
trailer because that's kind of
Well,
what was
they were
going
making the
on.
whole thing where like, well, you guys aren't certified.
Yeah,
Can't go out there. Now we're certified. Now we can go out there. And now we're gonna die. Because then they were out there, obviously, in the trailer.
and Miles Teller is the young hotshot
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, he's the young guy. Probably gonna save some older guys and like win their respect in the end, or die. One of the two.
Oh, I'm sure. Maybe some sequels coming our way. But yeah, I don't think it looks particularly good. It looks like a lesser like Peter Berg movie. He did like the Deepwater Horizon, all those. He
yeah.
did like Friday Night Lights, and it kind of looks like one of his movies, but just I don't know, not as good. But yeah, so all right, should we just jump into the main event here?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right, so we are going to be reviewing the epic Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Mark Rylance and Tom Hardy.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles
Kenneth Branagh.
is in this movie, yes.
This
and,
movie was loaded with
it's
actors.
loaded with talent. So, all right, let's jump into it, boys. Dave, do you want to lead us into it?
Yeah, so the basic story is, you probably, if you're American, don't know much about Dunkirk. The entire British army basically was like trapped in France, and they were trying to evacuate them because, they were going to be totally fucked when Germany came for England next. So they had to try and evacuate. I think in the movie they say they're trying to, get 30,000?
No, they were trying to get 30,000 off in a day. They had upwards of 300,000
Yeah,
men
they had
there.
300,000 there, and they were 30,000 was what they expected to get out.
Yeah, my question, I guess we'll get into, because Adam here is quite the history buff, so we'll be talking about some specifics, but were they trying to get Like I guess they got 300,000 out. So did that like far surpass the number?
Yeah, they didn't think they were gonna get that many off. They really had to get those guys out of there because that was like the core of the British Army. If they lost that, then they would have been screwed.
Yeah. So it really was a big turning point, and one of the turning points, I guess, in the war.
I mean, that was like if like the U.S. Army was stranded somewhere and we didn't really have anything else, and if we had to get them out of there, and if we didn't get them out of there, we had nothing.
Awesome.
And like I said, like people even like theorize that Hitler, like he could have made the death blow right there, but he didn't because he had some weird fondness for England.
No, I could talk about that later if you want.
They were talking about like how the tanks were coming and they stopped, and apparently like Hitler made the order to stop, and it was really stupid because they would have just like destroyed them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but so they're trying to get out there. The movie opens and it's in 3 separate timelines. It's like the mole. Apparently, a mole is a pier. Big pier. Yeah, that takes place over the course of a week. And then it says, I don't remember if it's the sea or air is second.
I think it's the sea is 1 day.
The sea is 1 day.
Yeah, I just don't remember if it's second or third.
Oh, that's what that was. The 1 day, 1 week. It was over. Okay, I was confused.
Yeah,
by
so
that.
I guess it was all like converging.
That's why the timeline was so jumbled.
But it was all 3 of those things are in the same time, just over different time periods.
Yeah, and then the air is only an hour. I don't remember what the order is, but it opens with not a lot of dialogue in the beginning.
No,
just some British soldiers.
Not a lot of dialogue in this movie.
Yeah. They were like walking down some random street in France, and they all just start getting shot in the back by an unseen force. So they literally all get killed except for one dude who manages to get away. And then he runs to the beach, like for some reason, and then they're getting evacuated. Oh no! First he manages to get behind some French soldiers because they make the French stay behind and hold the lines.
Yeah,
which makes sense because it is France. So he gets to the beach, and there's like a giant evacuation effort going on. There's like one big or it's a hospital ship there first, right? And they're trying to load the wounded onto the hospital ship. And then while they're there, they start getting like he meets another guy who's burying a soldier and taking all his clothes, which is a major plot point later on. So him and the other guy, they try to get in line to get on a boat, but turns out they're only evacuating wounded. So they find a wounded guy, and it's basically their ticket off off France, which I thought was funny.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, they grab the wounded guy and they get the stretcher and they get up there and they finally manage to get on the hospital ship and gets destroyed. So they
get told they get thrown off of it.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. They get thrown off of it and then it does get blown
up. And that poor wounded guy they threw on there just dies.
Yeah. So they end up hiding on the bottom of the mole. And then I think it cuts constantly, either the sea or the air. And then we see in the air, it's like Tom Hardy is like this guy. He's in a squadron of 3 planes, and they're going to basically back up the evacuation. And then in the sea, we see that they're in England. They're requisitioning all these small crafts to send over to like evacuate people because the English Channel there is only like 20 miles wide or something.
And that's Mark Rylance, and I guess are those both his sons? Or
yeah, those are both his sons. His 17-year-old son. He tries to tell him to stay. He ends up coming.
Yeah.
So they start embarking on their journey across the water. So it cuts back to the beach, and Kenneth Branagh is like the rear admiral who is just like down on the beach. And then there's also
Is he from Titanic?
Kenneth Branagh?
No. It looked like the same guy on Titanic who's wearing the same outfit.
I think the guy on Titanic was what's his name?
The one that killed himself because he shot the
captain of the ship, right?
No, not the captain. The guy who was like ordering the lifeboats. I think it was the same guy.
I doubt that was Kenneth Branagh.
Okay. No, I don't.
Remember he shot the guy, one of Leo's friends.
Do you mean the guy that was like the architect of the Titanic?
No. Yeah, let me pull it up.
Yeah, pull it.
While you're doing that,
up.
I'll keep trying to. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna like do one timeline at a time because it's gonna be hard because it's so jumbled. So and the mole timeline. First, the hospital ship gets destroyed, and then basically they decide they can only do one destroyer at a time because they're just gonna get rocked. Because right now, the entire time, Germany is just like bombing them and strafing them on the ground, killing tons of people because they have almost no defense. So that happens, and then they get off. Another ship comes, and I think what do they sneak onto it? Yeah. Oh no! They jump into the water, and then they swim out to a destroyer, right? Mm-hmm. And then they just assume that they were supposed to be on there. So they get on the destroyer, and the guy that he met earlier. So there's a private. We'll just call him the private.
Yeah.
Who's followed throughout most of the film. And
names aren't really. I don't even know.
The only name I remember is Collins, one of the pilots.
Yeah. So names really aren't that important in this movie.
Yeah, so him and his French friend, that's a spoiler. Yeah, the guy's French. They get on a destroyer and they go down in there and like the destroyer's getting ready to leave. They're getting jam and toast. And the French guy, he ends up staying outside because he wants to he's too afraid to go onto the boat because he doesn't want it to get blown up. And then it does get blown up. So basically, like they're in like total darkness while the ship is filling up with water, and the French guy ends up saving them by opening this door. So they ended up like flowing out. So then this is when they meet up with Harry Styles, who is also another character. So then they swim out, and then I think that this is when they meet Cillian Murphy, right? Because remember, we see him.
Yeah. Because he's kind of like, sort of, is he an officer or something?
I don't know if he was but he was on a boat.
Yeah,
and he was telling them they couldn't get
traffic
on.
or something. Yeah.
So they meet Cillian Murphy, who we meet later in the sea, and he tells them they can't get on. They have to wait for another boat. So they go back to the shore, and they're basically like resigned to death. So at this point, they get back to the beach, and I think that the officers are talking, and they say that, they're like getting really close to Germans, like we can't hold them much longer. And then I think it's another day. And then Harry Styles, the private, and the French guy, they find like a boat that's beached. And there's actually like a joke with a tide thing where they didn't know how long it took the tide to come back in.
Yeah, and then was that when the bodies, they see the bodies?
Yeah, he's like, it comes in every 3 hours, and the guy in the Navy's like, no, it's every 6 hours.
Yeah.
He's like, that's why you're in the Army. And then they say it again on the boat, like, how long does the tide take to come in? 3 hours.
Yeah.
So they get on a beached boat, and they hide, and then they wait for the tide to come in, but it takes 6 hours. So a guy comes into the boat, and it's a Dutch guy who I guess was it his boat, or was he just trying to escape France?
I'm actually not sure.
Because he knows how to drive the boat.
I don't remember either. I'm not sure.
I just remember he knew how to drive the boat.
Yeah.
So while they're sitting in there waiting for the tide to come in, it starts to come in a little bit, and then the Germans apparently start using it for target practice. So they start shooting them from outside, shooting holes in the boat.
Yeah, well, I have a question about that scene, but we'll get into it later.
Okay.
But,
yeah, so they keep shooting it, and at first they think they're just getting shot at, but then they realize they don't know they're in there. They're just shooting it for target practice, and they're just shooting it full of holes. So like, okay, we got to plug these holes because the tide is coming in. So one guy tries to plug the hole, gets shot. Then they like really start opening up on the boat. And at this point, they're like, we're not going to make it out unless we lose some weight. So then they Harry Styles accuses the French guy of being a German spy because he doesn't say a word the entire movie. And then it finally comes out that he's French, and he assumed the identity of a British soldier because the British aren't letting the French evacuate with them. So
I didn't understand that scene because there was so much water in the ship that would be more weight than...
They ended up getting away anyway.
yeah, we'll get into that scene because I have a couple questions about that.
But they're basically saying that because I think the Dutch guy is like, we're floating, but we're taking on too much water, and if we lose some weight, we'll be able to float better. But then they end up floating anyway.
Yeah.
Because they end up getting away without having to lose any weight, remember?
Well, they don't really get away. It sinks when they get off the shore.
Well, yeah, but they make it out pretty far into the channel, remember? Yeah. So they get into the channel, and then they're just trying to plug the holes. They're just pumping this thing full of holes. Now, I guess they realize there are people in there. They end up getting out to the water, and which is where they converge with the people from the sea, which is a guy and his two sons, who actually, Cillian Murphy, they picked him up earlier because on the ship he was on got blew up by a submarine. So he's there.
And so this is where the timelines kind of differ.
Yeah, all the
because
three...
you see Cillian Murphy
early
on the
in the
mole
film.
timeline, he's, it's most of the way through, but then on the sea timeline, they pick him up maybe halfway through because of the timeline difference.
Yeah, I actually feel like I should come back to it because this is pretty much the end of the mole timeline almost. I feel like I should come back now. So basically, they end up getting picked up by the people from the sea timeline, and someone from the air timeline gets picked up by them.
Yeah.
So basically, their boat gets out there, and there's also a minesweeper. The minesweeper gets blown up, and they swim out and they get picked up, and then a bomber crashes into the water and ignites this oil, which kills a bunch of people. And then that boat ends up going back to England. So in the sea timeline, I guess I'll do that one next. Or maybe I should do the
I think
air.
it was C next.
Yeah. Basically, it starts with them. They're getting their boat requisitioned, and the father seems like he's kind of antsy to get out there, I guess, because he wants to save some people.
Was he former Navy or like
he said his son was in the Air Force?
Okay,
but it seemed like he
to have
knew.
a lot of.
Yeah, they never
information.
really explained it. I wonder if he was like in World War I because he knew a lot about shell shock, and
Well, like I
He
said,
didn't know a lot about the military.
that was a big thing in World
Well, his
War
son
I was
was a
shell
pilot,
shock.
he said.
Okay, yeah, because he was immediately able to identify all kinds of. I mean, I guess maybe at the time period you would just kind of know that stuff, but he was very knowledgeable about a lot of.
Yeah, especially like the pilot wasn't even getting him any help when they got strafed.
Yeah.
Like I thought the pilot had been like, "Here's what you need to do," and no, the boat captain.
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah, the boat captain did it, and then the pilot was like, "What? What'd you do? How'd you do that?"
do that? Like,
Didn't learn that in flight school.
yeah. So they sail out, and like I don't know how far out they are. They pick up a single guy, it's Cillian Murphy, who's sitting on like the top of a sinking boat, who's obviously suffering from major PTSD.
Yeah.
So they pick him up and put him on the boat, and then when he finds out that they're not going back to England, he has a freak out basically, and he kind of like has a struggle and ends up killing the 17-year-old boy by knocking him down the stairs.
Yeah. Slow death.
Yeah, so then by the guys on the sea, they go out, they find out he's dead, and then they end up picking up all the people from the mole, like Harry Styles, and then the private, who barely, they like drag him through the water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They end up saving them and going back to England. So then let's go to the air timeline, because a lot of this isn't making sense without that.
Yeah.
So the air timeline, it's Tom Hardy, and then there's two other guys, Collins, and then the flight squadron leader.
Yeah,
so they go out to basically help the evacuation. They end up, first they take out one plane, Tom Hardy does, and then the squadron leader gets shot down. We don't even see him get shot down. And then it's just Tom Hardy, he gets shot and he loses his fuel gauge. So he basically has to keep asking his friend Collins, how much fuel he has left and writing it down because he can't keep track of it. So then him and Collins go out there. They shoot down another fighter, I think. And then Collins gets shot down, and he manages to land in the water and get picked up by the people from the sea, Mark Rylance. And then it's just Tom Hardy, and he's going back to England because he knows he has no fuel left, and he sees the bomber that he couldn't get, making another pass. Already blew up the minesweeper and is about to try and blow up, I guess, some of the civilian boats. So he turns back, and then while he has a fighter on his back, he shoots the bomber down, right?
Yeah.
He kind of realizes when he's turning around that he's gonna run out of fuel.
Yeah, he knows.
This.
He makes. I mean, it shows him for like pondering it for a long time.
And he's just about at Dunkirk at this point, right?
Yeah, he's basically almost there. Yeah, he makes the conscious decision that he's going to run out of fuel to try and save some people. So he shoots the bomber down. I don't remember if he gets that fighter or not.
He got the fighter.
He got the fighter too. Yeah, he gets like 4 kills in the movie.
He was a crack shot.
Yeah, he was freaking good. So then he flies. So then Collins gets shot down and crashes in the water and gets picked up from the people from the sea. So he gets picked up and he's on the same boat from the people from the mole. So they're all together on the boat. And then Tom Hardy flies back to the beach and he like passes over a couple of times, I guess to like boost morale.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I didn't really understand why he didn't bail out and he landed it instead. Maybe he thought, Adam said maybe landing is safer than bailing out.
Yeah.
Because he ended up landing and getting captured.
Yeah, I mean,
what I didn't understand is why didn't he ditch in the water like right off the coast, like where all the boats were picking up. I don't know. I didn't really understand that.
I have a feeling it's just because he thought landing would be safer. That's all I can think.
That's what I think too.
Well, when it showed that guy Collins,
just makes it a lot more tragic.
Yeah.
When that guy Collins landed in the water, it was a pretty violent landing.
Yeah, it was.
I guess it wasn't like landing in the water is not like a safe bet. And it seemed
but parachuting out would be. I mean, they have parachutes. I don't know. I really didn't understand. But while he's gliding back, actually, so at this point, all of these tons of like small boats have shown up to pick up people, and it's like a really patriotic, happy moment because they're all bearing the British flag, picking up all these people. And then like it gets cut short because there's like a single fighter coming in, basically getting ready to make a strafing run. And then Tom Hardy manages to shoot it down while he's like literally gliding back and forth. We don't even see him shoot it down; it just gets shot down.
Yeah,
some miraculous.
Flies over.
Yeah, he shoots that thing down, and then he lands, and then he blows up his plane. He gets captured. We don't see what happens to him. Probably nothing bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get back home, and then a lot of the British soldiers, like Harry Styles, think they're going to be treated as cowards, but instead they find out that they're getting like a hero's welcome.
Yeah.
Because that's like the whole film is like they do a lot of shitty stuff to survive, and then in the end, that's like what was most important.
Nice.
Yeah, so
well done.
That synopsis was probably hard to follow, but
it was very accurate. So I guess overall, before we give our thoughts, maybe we just drop it over to Adam here. And this movie felt extremely realistic. Like what did they get? Like, I guess I'm just curious, what did they get right? Did they dramatize a lot of stuff, or like give us an overview?
I can't really tell if they dramatized much. I'm sure they dramatized a lot, but I mean, it felt accurate. I mean, a lot of ships got destroyed. There's a lot of U-boats out there. A lot of mines were out there. The Germans made it difficult for them to get out of there. I thought it was accurate with the French were holding the line. The British had the French were holding a lot of the line from the Germans, like to keep the perimeter. But there were also a lot of British there holding a lot of the best of the British army. Like there's a unit called the Coldstream Guards. They're like the best unit the British have. They held the line until the last second, and then they literally ran from where they were and got on a boat and got the hell out of there. Wow. So I thought that they did a good job portraying the French there because they did kind of screw the French over.
It almost didn't show the French at all.
They showed them at the beginning when they were holding the line, and they showed that unit that the one guy wouldn't let on the boat.
Yeah.
Well, and Kenneth Branagh at the end says, I'm going to wait here for the French to get rescued.
Yeah, he does say
so
that.
They get
a lot of French got rescued.
Yeah,
right?
they got almost as many French out as they did British. They got a lot of French out of there.
Cool. And at this point in the war, I guess France had already been pretty much conquered, right?
Well, no, they weren't conquered yet. Germany invaded on the 10th of May. This movie was around the timeline of between like the 20th of May and the 31st.
Okay,
More like the 2nd of June.
Because it took a couple months for Germany to take?
No, it took less than a month for them to
Oh,
conquer
less than
France.
one.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. In World War II,
It was
it did.
steamrolled.
Yeah. It was actually
Poland-like.
it was a pretty funny story. They invaded on the 10th, and by the 15th, the French Prime Minister called Churchill in the middle of the night and said, "We're screwed here. You better do something."
Well, what I didn't realize is at this point in the war, I guess there's a scene in the movie where I can't remember who it is. I think it might have been Kenneth Branagh kind of talking soberly to whoever. And I guess Churchill was considering
I don't think they were. I don't know if they were considering terms with the Germans. I don't think so. I don't think Churchill would ever bend the knee to the Germans.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I thought he was saying that he was going to tell the French to surrender, but he wasn't going to. I thought that's what he said.
I thought
like
there
he
was
was
a
like.
scene where they were talking about.
I remember that scene, but I don't.
I feel like he said, officially he told the French that we would come to terms, but unofficially, like the French can do it.
Well,
I thought that's what he said.
In
basically.
reality, the British were very misleading to the French. They didn't tell them they were actually leaving until like it was clearly obvious that they were leaving, because they didn't want to tell the French that they were pretty much abandoning them. Otherwise, the French might break ranks and
and there's a
run
scene
away.
too where the French are trying to get on board. Right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
early
they're not-
parts.
Well, what they ended up doing is they promised they would get the French out afterwards, or they would bring up French ships to get them out. But the whole time, Churchill didn't care about getting the French off until the very end, until the last British soldier was out of there.
Cool. And my other question is they read his famous speech at the end in the paper about we'll fight on the beaches, we'll fight on the blah, 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 and all that. Was that a direct response to Dunkirk? Or
I'm not sure.
'cause it kind of made it seem like that was literally
it would
a
make
speech.
sense. 'Cause
Yeah,
that was the turning
I
point
think
in the war.
so.
And I didn't realize that was almost directly in response.
They don't
to
really teach you
Dunkirk.
anything about Dunkirk in American high school.
yeah,
I
they
don't
didn't-
remember any learning.
They didn't
about
really
this.
do a good job showing the backstory. They just showed that leaflet at the beginning showing that they were surrounded, and
Oh yeah, there was no exposition.
they didn't even really
That's
say
cool.
Germans. They said they were surrounded by an enemy. Like, they
Well,
didn't-
I think that was kind of a theme, was the unseen enemy.
Yeah.
Like they're
'cause
literally
I thought
getting
it was
shot at.
interesting because you really don't. I don't even think you see other than the.
you don't see a German
German
soldier until
fighter.
the very end when Tom Hardy gets captured. I think
Yeah,
it's the
you
only time
literally
you
don't
see
see
a
a
German.
single time. I mean, literally when they're getting shot, you just see bullets coming. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I mean, that was like a theme of the movie. Like there's unseen forces, like coming after them.
Yeah, and even the propaganda that fell from the skies. It was
Yeah.
just, it made it seem almost like an unseen.
But I mean, at the same time, then the planes, like it would usually show the planes like from pretty far out. But I mean, we constantly saw German planes dogfighting and getting shot down.
Well, my other question: when the civilian requisition ships are escaping Dunkirk, was there a lot of casualties there? Because I would think the Germans would keep.
Well, the thing was, at a certain point, they call it the miracle at Dunkirk, and it's the miracle for three reasons. There was, one second, there was favorable weather at the time. Usually that area of the French Channel is really, the ocean's really rocky, and you can't really get small boats out there, but the ocean at the time was pretty clear, so you can get the small boats across the way. And there was also cloudy skies, which didn't permit a lot of German planes from doing strafing attacks.
That's
they
what I
didn't,
was-
and then also German planning was really poor when it came to Dunkirk.
Cool, because that's what I was kind of wondering. I was like, it plays this like victorious music when you see the ships coming in. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you think they'd be
why
sitting
the hell wouldn't
ducks?
the Germans just pick them off like fish in a barrel? But I guess if the weather,
And also, they did kind of a little bit of a job showing it. There was like this. They made a lot bigger of a deal of it in the book I read, but there was like, you ever seen that like pillar of smoke that was coming up all the time from where Dunkirk was?
yeah.
Apparently, that was a lot bigger in reality, and that was like masking the mole from like strafing runs and
gotcha.
stuff like
Because
that.
I mean, there was not a lot of planes making strafing runs.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't know if that was like a limitation of the film or just real
Well,
life.
they say it was a miracle because the weather was unfavorable for airplane attacks, but it was favorable for boats getting people out of there. So it was kind of a perfect situation.
So yeah, this was like a big turning point in the war. I guess would this be maybe just second to the Russian failure? Or
Probably. I mean, it would have really screwed Britain over if they couldn't get their army out of there. It probably would have emboldened Hitler to even go after the British even quicker.
Yeah, I'm really surprised this doesn't get more.
It's because in American school.
yeah, in British, this is like a this is like Pearl Harbor to the British.
I mean,
Like,
I'm sure
they're very
or like
proud of
D-Day
this.
or
I almost think
something.
this was made for British audiences because I'm sure if you're British and you're watching this, it made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because they probably all know about Dunkirk. We all know about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right. Well, let's jump into the actual movie itself. Did you guys like Dunkirk? What'd you think?
I liked it a lot. I think that my least favorite part was the mole,
Yeah,
and I think that my favorite part was definitely the air because
Yeah.
the pilots were the most fun to watch.
I actually loved it. And,
Yeah.
this is definitely my favorite Christopher Nolan.
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
I went into it a little bit skeptical, and I really enjoyed it. And I think my biggest reasons for liking it, I think, are because it kind of took out what I consider to be Christopher Nolan's biggest weaknesses in his movies. Like, I usually am kind of annoyed by his characters.
Oh yeah.
I'm annoyed by his writing, and a lot of times the pretension of his plots. And I feel like all three of those things are kind of like negated in this movie because the characters are, I don't want to say the characters aren't important, but all the characters are just kind of this this is an ensemble.
Oh, absolutely.
This is an ensemble movie like we were talking about last week. Every character is important, but they're not really important. Like, they're just part of this overall story. And as far as the plot, I mean, I feel like it stays, as Adam said, pretty realistic. And, the dialogue is minimal. So I really, really liked it.
I really thought, I mean, some of my favorite scenes were like when they were trapped in the boat and it's like dark.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like incredibly intense because they were just fucked. I mean,
a lot of people in those boats died.
Yeah, I mean,
like when those boats went down, they lose hundreds of people.
yeah, I mean, they were trapped in a boat.
Like,
it was like total darkness.
You saw how many people were on that boat when he first walked down there,
Yeah,
and there was
yeah.
like they were handing out food, and there was like hundreds of people down there.
Yeah,
and
and
they
only-
all died
not
except
that
for
many
like
made it
two.
off.
The lighting in that scene where it's just this total, like, just blackness all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like,
and they're
I
trying to
can't
like
imagine how.
Yeah, and they're trying to get to this. They can't see. They don't know where the water is. Really, they're just
Yeah.
under it.
So
that
Adam,
was really
Adam,
cool.
did you like this one or?
The film.
Yeah.
I was it was a little artsy for me, honestly. I was
Yeah.
like I was getting a little confused at some points with the timeline, but I followed it pretty well. I could see how some people that didn't know the history at all could get kind of lost. But I thought it was pretty good overall. I just wasn't expecting what I got, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like a Saving Private Ryan
No,
at
not
all.
at
It was
all.
very different.
Because
I
the
wouldn't-
whole theme was like survival.
Yeah, and I wouldn't hold that against it. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I thought visually, I thought it was awesome. I've
yeah.
never really had a problem with Christopher Nolan's visuals. I mean,
That's what he does well.
The guy knows how to show visuals incredibly well. I mean, like, other movies like Interstellar has some of the coolest visuals I've ever seen. It's just there are other parts of that movie that I freaking hate. Like, and the Batman movies had great visuals. Like, it's not, he's visually, obviously borderline a genius. He's great visually, and this movie really got, you got a chance to showcase that, and it kind of hid a lot of his other weaknesses, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Like, because like, I mean, some of the characters you just didn't care about, but it, didn't matter too much. 'cause
Yeah,
there were so
I gotta
many
say,
of
and
them.
I don't necessarily find it a weakness in the movie, but I didn't really care about any of the characters. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Tom Hardy.
I was
Hardy-
definitely invested in him the most.
Well, my dad brought up a good point when we walked out of the theater. He thinks that he was going for like the kind of thing like where it's so chaotic, you don't get time to meet anyone. You just kind of do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a thing where do what you have to do to survive. And that was the whole point of the scene with the French guy where he's trying to throw him overboard.
Yeah.
Because he's like, it's us or him.
Well, yeah, and I think Mark Rylance kind of embodied that too, because his character, like, he goes through all of this stuff. I mean, his kid dies.
Yeah.
He requisitions his boat. He, saves not hundreds, but he saves a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And his son dies, and then he gets back home, and he's just kind of like got that old, stiff upper lip about
Yeah.
him, and he just kind of. It's like he's doing his duty. Like, I think that's kind of what the movie was about too, is not, it wasn't about like showcasing, individual people. It was more like just
Yeah, it was like the bravery was in the fact that they survived.
and that all these civilians, I guess, just kind of did their civic duty,
Yeah.
and, rescuing all these people. So I think that was well communicated through it.
I definitely love the dog fights. I feel like those are some of the
dog
best.
fight. I
Those
think
were
that was
so good.
those dog fights.
Speaking of that, what did you guys think about the sound? Like sometimes the sound, like when they're going like a strafing run to the airplane
I love
engines,
the
it was
sound.
like it was overwhelming. Some
it was
point.
too loud in the theater.
Yeah, it was
to be
really
honest.
It
loud.
was really loud, but I liked it. It made it so intense, and even the bullets, like, just were like, ugh, like,
Yeah, when he
whenever-
got hit, like and it took his gauge, I was like, oh shit. Like,
yeah,
that was,
like it really, like, it's intense, and
Like
and-
in the beginning of the movie when they started shooting at like those guys were getting shot in the back, those gunshots were so loud.
Yeah, I know. It was
and
very loud.
there's some like jump scares.
I mean, I guess that's the way it is in real life, but man,
Yeah, I mean that was the whole point. It was like, when you get shot, you don't even see where it's coming from half the time. That's how it is in real life.
Yeah, like this definitely felt like you were immersed. I think that's the best thing about this movie for me is it really felt like you're immersed in this situation. Like as everything is super intense. And I think one of the best, most impressive things about it is he did this. I just assumed this was an R movie. This is a PG-13 movie.
I actually was thinking about that the whole time because I was like, there's no blood almost at all.
I assumed
so it must be PG-13, but I was like, I had to assume it was an R movie, but it wasn't.
Didn't feel like it didn't feel like some PG-13 movies. Where you're like,
remember at the beginning of the movie when he first got to the beach and the plane did the bombing run and like it blew up like a couple. I was assuming I was going to see like half a guy's body or something.
I was waiting for the guy right next to him.
You just saw a corpse next to him. Like you didn't really see it.
The big thing I think for me was the beginning where they all got shot and there was no blood whatsoever. And I was like, this has to be an R movie, but no, it was PG-13.
I thought it was an R.
It felt very mature like an R movie.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it didn't feel like any lighter.
I think the only blood that was really in the movie was when the kid fell and the back of his head was like
and then
busted.
they showed like the one guy in the stretcher was a little blood.
Yeah.
I mean, there was very little blood.
But I think that's pretty impressive that it managed to communicate that much through with a PG-13.
I mean, this would definitely be a rough movie for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough because that's the thing is some of these scenes are so intense, and I guess when you think about it, there's not like a super. There's not tons of gory violence, but you still get the intensity of this.
I mean, this movie was like stressing me out, especially when they were in the boat and they're getting shot. I was like, oh my god,
yeah, that was pretty tense.
That was like too stressful.
Let's get into that scene for a second. Where were the Germans shooting them from?
I guess they were on the beach because
they literally said they were closing in from the west,
and
they said that was that was a big ass beach, and they said that was outside the perimeter.
Yeah,
because that was what happened. They got to the boat, and they're like, "This is outside the perimeter. The Germans could be here." So basically, like, I think the Germans were basically just closing in on the beach the entire time because it was the same thing when the plane crashed. He didn't crash that far away, but he still got captured by the Germans. So I guess they had taken like a huge swath of the beach, and they basically just had the mole, and that was it.
Yeah. And other things that annoyed me a little bit, kind of speaking to what Adam said, like I never felt lost during this movie, but there is so little exposition.
Oh my god!
That there were definitely times where I was like, okay, wait, what's going on here? Like, it's definitely, I definitely feel like the movie could have used a little bit more exposition. Like, I'm not someone who likes a ton of exposition where it's like spoon feeding it to me, but there were definitely times where I was like, okay, I'm not totally sure what's going on. I kind of have to use context clues and like wait to get into the scene before I fully got it. But,
if I didn't read like the Wikipedia for it, I would have been lost for a lot of it. There was also a little too much repetition mainly with the when they were picking up the people from the sunken boat and the
oil slick one.
Yeah, they showed that scene from a lot of angles a lot of times, and that was confusing because they showed it too many times. I think.
Yeah.
Because they showed it from like 3 different angles, and then they showed it again. I feel like I saw it multiple times from the air too.
Well, there's a lot of
because they showed it from Colin's point of view and Tom Hardy's point of view. That was confusing.
I never got tired of those dogfights though.
They were
because
so
that was
good.
Repetitious. Like it was very similar stuff happening. Pretty much the whole air plot with Tom Hardy was really similar, but I never got tired.
Yeah,
of it.
that was my favorite part.
I freaking even just love that sight where it's like orange, like that. It's that orangey.
Yeah,
sight.
it shows how hard it was for their job because I think a lot of people when they think of dogfights, they think of like playing like a video game and how easy it is to shoot planes down.
Or like sometimes you think about like I don't know, like the Millennium Falcon and Star Wars, like shooting guys down.
When you're watching him doing those dogfights, you're like, oh my god, it actually looks way harder than you think it is.
I like how he had to use the rear view mirror.
Yeah, he did. And even like when the ship was even when the plane was right in front of him, like it's not
I like that a lot.
There were times I'm like, oh, that guy's done.
And he
like,
was getting shot.
hard,
He was getting shot at by that bomber. Like someone was shooting back at him.
That was really intense too. Like I guess that was showing like the kind of balls he had because like, there was a gunner on that bomber shooting at him the whole time, and he was just like right up and behind it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you were right. He would have the bomber right in his sight, and he would still miss because it was so hard to hit it.
Yeah, but I could have watched that all day.
Yeah.
Like even I love when his fuel gauge goes and he's writing it down with the chalk like that. I also
feel like he did a good job just like expressing like what was going on just with his eyes flying around.
Because I gotta say there were some lines of his that I missed too, but it still was like
did you guys notice there were some times where especially the dog fighters, they would start talking and it was in such garbled British accents that you had trouble understanding
sometimes
it.
Tom Hardy was a little bit of the Bane effect going on there. He had the mask on. He was just like
like Fortis one. Yeah. But I really like when they were kept asking like, where are we? And they would say the name of the place. I was like, I didn't hear what that was.
Yeah.
It was like, is that Dover? And he's like, no, it's I don't know what it was. And then they're like, where are when they're on the train? They're like, where are we? And he says where they are. I'm like,
there's random British towns.
Yeah, I guess this was definitely made for British audiences. I feel like
that's kind of what I chalked it up to. Is okay, it doesn't matter. But I mean, there's not much dialogue in this movie, and I thought it helped it out a lot because it just didn't. I don't feel like it needed it. And again, like one of my personal biggest annoyances with Christopher Nolan is his dialogue is so preachy sometimes, in my opinion, especially in some of the Batman movies.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, ugh. And this movie, just felt totally real.
I honestly feel like this movie was not as sparse on dialogue as people said it was. Like, there was not a lot of dialogue in the beginning, but near the end of the film, there was like plenty of it.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot, but I mean, like near the end, they were talking in basically every scene.
Well, I guess there's a lot of like,
the beginning just had tons.
There's a lot of like I guess script sounding dialogue. There's a lot of just like mumbling and like.
I don't really know what the word for that is. Where it's in the background.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And it's like they're not talking directly in the mic.
Yeah, and I know I can't remember what it's called.
There was tons. Yeah, you're right. There was tons of like non-direct dialogue, like
which
in the
I thought
background.
worked for it. It's just you really feel like you're in this situation with these guys. And
I also felt like the characters were good in this. Like Tom Hardy's character was good. I like Kenneth Branagh's character.
Yeah, what do we think of the performance? I mean, I thought they were good from pretty much everybody.
Who would you say was your favorite in this?
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the boat captain.
I like Mark Rylance.
Yeah, he was good too.
Because
I like Kenneth Branagh a lot.
Kenneth Branagh was good. I mean, Harry Styles was okay. Like he was fine.
He was probably my least favorite.
He was, but yeah, it's like
he was good. It just wasn't great.
And I do have a problem with that casting too, because apparently I read something that. And this cannot be true, but apparently Christopher Nolan claims that he didn't know who Harry Styles was when he cast him. That is the biggest load of crap that I've ever heard in my life. He didn't know who Harry Styles was.
He knew who One Direction was. I mean, you can't be British and not know who they are.
Or wasn't aware of like how famous Harry Styles was.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. How old is he?
I mean, I'm sure that dude lives under a rock. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes,
I guarantee you he does. But you can live under a rock.
There's some pop stars here and some famous bands that I wouldn't know.
But when he auditioned, he would know who he was.
I would know who One Direction was.
Hey,
but
this guy's an extremely famous rock star or pop star.
Yeah, I have a feeling someone would have told him that. Yeah, you're right.
And also,
that's the only way he got that.
Feels kind of calculated too, because especially with like Harry Styles is in it. It's a PG-13 rating. I wonder if he was like trying to get some younger.
Well, this movie was expensive, and I'm sure that he was probably thinking about this movie.
I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about some metrics.
How much money did this movie cost to make?
$150 million. Plus, potentially another 100.
Well, it made like $50 million in the U.S. this weekend.
I think it'll do well, but yeah, he was probably thinking about metrics a little bit because this is a very art house film, especially with the titles. That's not something you see.
Yeah,
in,
where Dunkirk just comes up and there's no music and then just kind of fades away,
and then it's like 1 the mole, 2 the sea. That's not something you see.
Yeah, well, and the way the way it's directed and shot too is like it's not easy to follow.
Yeah.
Or, it's very little exposition, very little dialogue. It's not. There's very little like sentimentality or anything like that. I mean, it's played very much like realistically, I think visually and in terms of the plot. So it's not a movie, I don't think, for everybody. And it's, like I love Saving Private Ryan too, but this is a very different movie.
Yeah, I mean, Saving Private Ryan is a very easy film to follow.
Yeah, that's a really easy film to follow. And like it's very, I mean, I don't want to use the word sentimental because it's better than that, but it's, there's, you care
about the characters.
You care about those characters.
Character driven.
It's character driven. And this movie is not character driven, but I think it's almost as good in a different way. But
I mean, I would say definitely not almost as good, but definitely near.
Yeah.
I mean, close. Not too close. Not too close.
I love Saving Private Ryan.
Because I mean, Saving Private Ryan, I would say that's untouchable.
And that's up there on your all-time list.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like I like it a lot, but I don't know. I don't think I'm quite as high on it. But,
I can't think of another World War II movie I like better. That's the thing.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
I mean, of all the ones that have been made, I can't think of any that are better.
I'm not super high on war movies as a genre. Like I like them, but you're probably lying.
I liked war movies a lot more when I was a kid. I feel like now I like them less and less. I like historical fiction, like I guess Saving Private Ryan is that based on like actual events or is it historical fiction?
I mean, I think that the only really historical part of that is the D-Day invasion.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that,
I think it's pretty much historical fiction.
I'm trying to think of other things. What do you guys? I like the score a lot.
The score with the ticking clock.
The ticking was
stressful.
good.
Was that Hans Zimmer again?
Yeah, it was Hans Zimmer. And I even besides the ticking clock, there was almost like that burr that he likes.
Oh well, there was a really like when they were on the boat and it got hit by the torpedo. Yeah, that had a really good score.
It did. I thought the whole movie there was just like a dread associated with it. I thought it was really good. I mean, that was
you're supposed to feel like you're trapped on this beach and the Germans are coming. You can't see them, but they're coming to get you.
Yeah,
and it made you feel like that.
It definitely did. It was claustrophobic and yeah, and there were just memorable scenes. I mean, everything with the dogfighting I loved. I loved the oil fire scene was really good. The scene where they're in the boat getting shot at.
Yeah, that was really well done.
And I guess the Germans didn't know they were there, so that just ramped up the tension even more. And then, yeah, it was just, I loved it. Trying else to say about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can talk about. I mean, the cinematography was amazing. The dogfights again.
Yeah, cinematography was great. Some of those like,
how about the costume design too?
Yeah,
I feel like that's going to be like probably nominated for.
I think so for sure. I feel like Blade Runner might be.
Oh yeah,
Blade Runners. I'm probably going to take.
Speaking of, let's talk about Blade Runner again after this because there was a new trailer for it that I hadn't seen
I
before.
saw that too.
Well, let's talk about that.
We'll talk about that for a second. Yeah, because it looks.
We can't get over this movie.
No, we can't. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely one of my favorite war movies I've ever seen. Probably could be on my end of the year list this year. Yeah, just a really, really good movie, and probably literally the first movie of Christopher Nolan's that I think is, although it's not one of my favorite movies of all time, I think it's close to perfection. Like it's, there's not.
I think he accomplished
what he set out to do, and I feel like all of his other movies I have at least one big problem with. In this movie, I really didn't. So, yeah, you want to just get to final thoughts, or?
Yeah. I mean, let's just give final thoughts and then our scores.
Yeah. All right, Adam, you want to start that off?
I thought the movie was great overall. I mean, it's kind of grown on me a little bit as we've been talking about it. When I first got out of the theater, I was kind of lukewarm about it.
It's a movie, really. I feel like I want to see it again. Like, just to kind of.
I feel like I missed some stuff. But no, after thinking about it and talking about it, I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Cool. I think I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Actually, I think I'm gonna go 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
So I liked it a lot. In fact, I mean, I think after I got out of the theater, I was almost like a little like shocked because it was so stressful that I was like, I had to like calm down for a second.
You really do.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like you're like.
I kind of want to see it again. I just saw it in. Did you guys see it in like 70 millimeter?
Yeah. I had to pay extra for that.
Did you? You saw it in the? Yeah. All right.
And that's I just saw it in regular theater. I think.
I mean, my freaking seat wouldn't stop shaking. It was so loud.
Yeah, because I just saw it normal. So I would like to see it again, like IMAX or 70 millimeter.
Yeah, I think it was just 70 millimeter or whatever. It was premium large format.
Man, I bet some of those shots of the ocean just had to pop in that 70.
And mostly for me, it was the sound. It was just like, I mean, it was just like so loud.
All right. Well, clearly we like that one. So Christopher Nolan, we're your biggest fans now. So not really.
No,
that was good. So
you did well.
Keep doing that. So all right, let's move on. Let's just talk about Blade Runner for a second because they released another trailer and I think it looks even better now.
This trailer looked even fun. I was like, oh, first of all, I want to talk about, did you see that said you can't outrun the past or something?
Yeah.
Well, outrun is the genre of music. And I feel like that was like a very blatant calling card.
Oh, man. I hope they have some of that music in there.
I mean, the music in the trailer, that's outrun music.
Yeah, because even that is like synth.
And I feel like that was a calling card. I also like, did you notice that they changed one of the lines? And I know they do this a lot in trailers from the movie, where he said every civilization is built upon the backs of slaves.
Yeah.
Before he said of a disposable workforce, which I think is a better line.
Yeah.
But I wonder why they changed that.
I don't know.
But that trailer,
a different line or like
no, it was the same speech because he was like every great leap of civilization is built upon the backs of a disposable workforce. Then he said slaves.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but yeah, you're right. I
like this trailer even better.
I do too. I think it looks amazing.
I mean,
they actually give you more, but they still don't like ruin everything.
Yeah, like I still don't know what's going on in the movie, but it was like, man, I gotta watch this movie.
I think I might, if I was doing like our most anticipated list, I might have to move this ahead of Star Wars.
Yeah, I actually saw the Star Wars trailer too, and I wasn't really interested at all.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? I mean, it doesn't hype me up the way I want it to. I mean, it looks good, but I mean, they don't really show you anything.
Yeah,
either.
really
it's literally
don't.
like nothing.
Other than Kylo Ren is back, I guess.
Yeah, you get like.
Oh no, I think I did see it. I just forgot because it was kind of forgettable.
Luke is like it's time for the Jedi to end, which is fake.
It's like I know people like freaking out.
He's just speaking from the inside. He's just like, it's time to get this over with. God damn,
it's time for this Jedi to hit the whole dusty trail. Like, when are you gonna kill me off? Like, Harrison already got his sweet release.
I like how they showed the Millennium Falcon in it again. So I wonder who's gonna be driving that thing.
I don't know. What also worries me though, I don't know how much of this is just building up hype and not hype, but almost like anti-hype and drama. But apparently, like Mark Hamill said, he like disagreed with everything that Rian Johnson had his character doing.
Wow.
And that he just decided to go along with it ultimately.
Is Rian Johnson the director?
He's the director.
That makes me, because I feel like.
Because
I feel like he has a respect for the franchise. Like I feel like Mark Hamill would know what fans want and what you should do. I would trust him more than pretty much anybody.
More than Rian Johnson.
What do you think will happen if this movie just isn't good?
People will still pay. It will still make $1 billion, so it doesn't matter if it sucks. Yeah.
I mean, just look at the prequels. I didn't think any of those were really good, and they made tons of money. I mean, people will watch it because it's Star Wars, but I don't know if they keep making these bad offshoot movies. I think
I feel like that's what will kill it. Not
that's
the
what'll kill it. I don't think these main, and I also think there's so much invested in these main three that I can't see them being like terrible. I feel like they will do anything they can to make it at least.
Well, what
passable.
they'll do is they'll follow the formulas from the old films, which is what they did for The Force Awakens.
It is what they did, yeah. Which I still like that one, but.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I thought the trailer for The Force Awakens was one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time too.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really paints that huge disconnect between the trailer and the movie. Because that trailer was like, it made Kylo Ren look incredibly badass, where he's like walking through the field and then and that's all you see from him basically. Yeah. And you're like, man, he's gonna be badass. And then he's just like,
he wasn't in
he was
movie.
a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of was, yeah. And
it also made the stormtroopers look awesome in the trailer, and they were cool in the movie, but in the trailer they looked like
Well, that's one of those sagas. I mean, I not as much for the prequels, but like I will if it's approaching the glory of the original three. Like I can go into fanboy mode, and I think you're able to separate yourself from that. And like I think now that I'm far enough away from Force Awakens that. I can. I do have some problems with that movie, and I actually haven't watched it again since I saw it twice in theaters, and I haven't seen it since. And I feel like just thinking about it, I know I would have some decently big issues with it, but I'm still on board. But we'll see. Rogue One, I was not a fan of.
Yeah,
but,
I still haven't seen that. I can't imagine I'll like it. But
no, I mean it was good, but it just was nothing compared to what I wanted it to be. So, Blade Runner, it just looks good. I don't know.
I mean that trailer. I feel like this could be my favorite movie ever. I mean, just from the trailer, it looks so good.
It just looks so good. Like everything about it, like the music, those visuals. Like I like the director. Like Ryan Gosling is like one of my favorites. He's in it.
And Harrison Ford.
I love Harrison Ford, and like everything looks good. Even that like big bespectacled man.
Yeah.
Like that looks like it's gonna be a freaking intense fight scene.
I know. Like just the way that that scene is like, oh man.
Like I want to see Ryan Gosling fight that guy.
Yeah.
Like, and he's going to.
And just like when they're like,
Jared Leto
he's driving through like that. What is that like supposed to be on Mars or something? I don't think
know.
that the movie's on
where like Harrison Ford is or whatever.
Yeah. It's like this deserted, gigantic city. That looks amazing.
It looks so good. Like every shot in this trailer, the visuals just look incredible.
Well, we can't even describe how excited we are.
No, and then that giant like projection of that woman like, reaching down to them. It's just everything about it. I'm ready for. Like that's my number one.
Let's be real.
I'm waiting for it. I'm ready. So.
I'm gonna be seeing this.
We'll be reviewing this one.
Yeah, we might do a live episode.
We might do like a live right after just instant reaction from it.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Let's get on. What do you want to move on to?
Do that trivia?
We can do trivia, or we can do our top 5 historical movies.
I forgot. We're also going to be doing our top 5 historical movies / historical fiction movies. So basically, if the movie has history in it, it can be on the list. And you want to just knock those out?
Let's do that.
And to be warned, like we didn't put a whole lot of thought into this. So I mean, these lists are. I'm not going to say they're highly inaccurate because I love all the movies on my list, but there are definitely probably some ones I might have missed. But off the top of our heads, these are our lists. So do we just want to go like round robin style?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So
we start at 5 or 1.
We can
let's
start at
5. So. Adam, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Kingdom of Heaven with portraying the Crusades with Orlando Bloom. I've rewatched it recently, and I don't think it's my favorite movie ever after rewatching it. But at the time when I was a kid, it really inspired me to learn about the Crusades. And I just don't think there's a lot of movies out there about the Crusades.
No, there really aren't. And I will say Kingdom of Heaven I'm putting on my honorable mention list because this was literally, if like you had asked me in high school like what my favorite movie was, besides maybe Star Wars, this would have been like it. Like I love this movie. Like my friend Chris and I, our friend, but we watched this movie so many times, like over and over again. Like I loved it. And I'm almost scared to go back and rewatch it because I literally probably
it's kind of cheesy at the end where he unites all the religions in Jerusalem to fight for him. Like the Muslims are fighting against other Muslims. Like, I don't know if this would happen.
I remember back then, I wasn't like. I remember even back then I didn't really like Orlando Bloom's character, but I was more readily able to. I liked
some of the other Crusader kings that were in the movie, like the guy who had like polio and stuff. And there was the guy, the Redbeard guy who was like pretty brutal.
He was the Knights Templar.
Yeah. I liked him a lot.
There are some good performances. I thought Liam Neeson was good while he was in it.
Oh yeah, he was in it.
Yeah, he's. I thought the guy who played Saladin was good.
Yeah.
Like there's good performances, but I'm a little scared to go back and watch it. But I'm gonna go. My number 5 is Titanic.
Oh wow,
I'm putting it on there. It's
that's shocking.
Got my boy Leo, and I think it's almost like I don't want to say parodied, but I almost feel like it's a lot of it gets made fun of these days, but I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie overall.
Yeah, so that's I don't have too much else to say. It's just I like
It speaks for itself.
It does.
Run number 5, I'm going to go with Gladiator, which we were iffy on this counts or not, but I guess it's historical.
No, it
fiction.
counts.
If one of my other movies can be on there, The Gladiator can be on there.
Yeah.
I actually somehow forgot about that again.
Gladiator?
Yeah, you just said it. That would be an
I
honorable.
think you forgot about some other ones.
Yeah, that would be an honorable mention too. I love Gladiator.
All right, so my number 4.
Yeah.
Get ready for this one. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Johnson.
Ooh, Jeremiah
with Robert
Johnson.
Redford. That where
When
he's.
did you watch that?
I watched it a while ago. I watched it a few
I feel like
times.
I remember us talking.
Yeah,
about
it would come on AMC all the time, and I would watch it when I was younger. And it's where Robert Redford's basically a mountain man. He's living in Colorado in like the late
He
90s.
fights Indians, right?
Yeah, he fights Indians, fights bears, and it's kind of. I'm really into like the Western like mountain landscape, and I just thought it was a really cool movie.
Yeah, fair enough. No, it's a good one. Number 4, I'm going with Count of Monte Cristo.
Ooh, that's a quality film.
It is, which is again like who knows? That's kind of bending the rules a little bit here, but I think I'll put it in there, and I love it. I'm actually reading the book now, and I just think it's a great movie. I maybe it's a little bit like Hollywood-esque, it's a little bit like glossy and like they're going for the drama, but I love it. I think it's really good.
All right, my number 4, I'm going to go with Tombstone, which
That's a good one.
has one of the best performances ever. I think that's all you need to be said.
Probably
with Doc Holliday?
one of my biggest Oscar snubs in history.
I would say that probably is the biggest.
Yeah,
I can't think of a bigger one for a
He
nomination.
is unbelievable in that movie.
I mean, I would say I would put that in like top 10 performances ever.
Yeah,
to be honest, I would feel fine.
it's so
doing that.
good. It's so good.
Apparently, Roger Ebert thought that too. That was like one of the biggest snubs ever for a performance. Yeah,
I did not know that. That makes
What
me,
for supporting actor?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes me happy.
Who won that year?
I actually would like to see the list from that year because I
think Dances with Wolves or something came out that year.
freaking Kevin Costner. is
I know, right?
Overrated. But wait, who? Adam.
I mean, my number 3, I'm gonna go with Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm really into politics, and not really into politics, but I'm like I thought it was really interesting how they had to. It was about Lincoln trying to push through the 13th Amendment through it. A lot of people thought it'd be strictly about the Civil War, but it's about like the inside politics of Washington. A lot of people thought it was really boring, but I loved it.
Good old Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
No longer an actor.
Yeah, or so he says.
Or so he says. He'll be back.
We'll see about that.
He will be back. My number 3 is Saving Private Ryan, which is just a classic war movie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably my favorite war movie. Dunkirk is close now, but I can't really think of one that is better. I don't really know that needs to be defended or said anything.
Yeah.
It's just a classic movie. Spielberg and Tom Hanks. I mean, it's great.
All right, my number 3 is Goodfellas.
Oh yeah, damn man,
Interesting.
That counts.
it does count.
It does.
That's a
And
real
I'm
story.
ashamed that's not on my list now.
The Lufthansa heist.
Actually, I just realized you could put The Wolf of Wall Street on there too. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a history.
Yeah,
There's a
But
lot,
I mean, I
lot
feel
of
like it's
films
kind of
we
like
missed.
stretching the.
it's stretching it, but it's
I mean,
it's
Goodfellas.
fair.
What do you need to say about Goodfellas?
Nothing. that needs nothing to be said about it. So
All right, my number 2 is Saving Private Ryan as well. It had to be on the list. It really inspired me to learn more about World War II, and I've actually been to the Omaha beach landing sites in France.
have you really?
Yeah, I've been there.
Did you have pictures of that?
Yeah, I've been there.
I gotta see
And
that.
it's in Colleyville-sur-Mer. It's I've been to the grave site where in the opening of the film where they're at.
Oh yeah.
And it's just kind of surreal knowing that you've been there and you've been in a place where thousands of people have died.
It's pretty awesome. Let's just say Adam and Dave here have done some world traveling. So
Don't they
they've
still have some of the forts out there?
Yeah. They still
Yeah,
have forts, like even all over the French coast. They still have fortifications.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of them have been beaten up by time and by people like graffiti and people coming around. But they've kept the ones near Omaha and like Utah and all those
can
beaches.
you just, is it like a tourist trap, or can you just walk on
It's not
there,
really
like-
a tourist trap. There are tourists there, but I went there in October, so it wasn't as busy. I'm assuming around the anniversary in June it gets really packed. But
But it's not like any.
no, there's
like,
nothing else
distasteful,
around it.
Cheesy stuff.
There's
like,
a World War II museum nearby, but I think it's pretty. It's not cheesy or anything. It really keeps to what it was, and just when you're driving up there, you can see like the area where like these paratroopers are fighting, and it's like really a dense packed forest, and like you can see the hedgerows, like the hills that they had to fight over, and I'm like, man, this really happened here. Like this is crazy. Like you just read it in books and see it on films, but when you're actually there, it's kind of
I
crazy.
can't imagine being there. Yeah, that's awesome. My number 2 is Tombstone, which has already been mentioned. I love it. I think the performances are unbelievable. I mean, Doc Holliday, Val Kilmer is just the best, as Dave already said.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody's great in that, though.
Oh,
Kurt
yeah.
Russell is
Kurt
amazing.
Russell's awesome.
Sam Elliott's great. Bill Paxton's good. I mean, everybody in that movie is great. What's his name? Michael Biehn.
Yeah, he's good.
The
The villains are good.
wait, what's his name? Johnny. Why do I know?
Oh,
Johnny Ringo.
Yeah, Johnny
Yeah,
Ringo.
he's
Johnny
great.
Ringo.
Powers Booth is in it. He's
Yeah.
amazing, and it is a great movie. I feel like that movie gets overlooked in general.
It really does. I mean, that's a
Like,
really good film. I don't
It's a
understand why it
great
didn't
movie
get better
in the
reviews.
Western genre. I mean, I think it's way up there.
What was the other Wyatt Earp movie they made? Was it just called Wyatt Earp?
It was called
just
Wyatt
called
Earp,
Wyatt Earp,
and it's
had
not
Kevin
good.
Costner
It's got Kevin
in it.
Costner
It was
in it.
terrible. And
I've
isn't
never
Kevin
seen it.
Costner. Is
He's
he
Wyatt
Doc
Earp.
Holliday? Oh no.
He's Wyatt Earp.
Oh, okay.
Of course, he's going to play the lead.
Well, I didn't. Yeah, it's just that.
Kevin
was-
Costner was such a big deal in the 90s, and we don't really know why.
No, Waterworld. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
that-
not a Kevin Costner fan. I mean, I'm not even a huge Field of Dreams fan.
And that's
Like,
an okay
I mean,
movie.
I like it, but I'm just not a
It's
Kevin
kind of
Costner.
weird. To be
Yeah.
honest.
What was the movie he was in? Where he was like a bodyguard to that one
I
singer.
think it was called The Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what the Hitman's Bodyguard is a parody of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Tombstone, I love it.
All right, my number 2 is Saving Private Ryan. We all fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
All right, my number 1 is another World War II movie, and it was directed by Clint Eastwood, and I'm going with Letters from Iwo Jima.
I haven't seen that.
I thought it was a fantastic movie. I love.
Is it about the Japanese?
It's from the Japanese perspective, and during the Battle of Iwo Jima, and I thought it was really well done.
Gotta see that.
I love things that cover like events from the other perspective, things that we don't see very often. Like we get kind of drowned out by the American perspective on a lot of World War II. Like there's another series called Generation War where it shows World War II from the German perspective, and it's pretty good. It's a good to get a different perspective
We
on
also
things.
read that book, The Forbidden Soldier, which was
Yeah, Forgotten Soldier.
Forgotten Soldier.
Yeah.
Right? That was really good too. And
But
gives you the
yeah,
time.
it's good to get a different perspective on things. And I just thought the movie was really well done. It's Clint Eastwood, so it's going to be well done.
Yeah, he knows how to direct. My number 1 is actually Lawrence of Arabia. I
haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't
I
seen
love
it.
that movie.
When was that made?
I think it was 62.
Yeah, it's
or 19
old. That
Yeah,
movie
and
cleaned up at the Oscars.
It
didn't
did. I love it. It's Peter O'Toole. It's really like it's a movie you're either gonna like or you're not. Like it's really long. Like it's super long, but I just think the cinematography is unbelievable. Peter O'Toole is great in it. It's just got some. It's got this like romanticism to it. I love it. It's
It's definitely a legendary film.
yeah. It
I
is.
mean,
That's my
just-
number 1.
All right, my number 1 is Casino.
Oh,
based on a true story.
It is.
Man,
Oh god,
it's a good one.
Cleaning up here with the gang.
I was going to put Wolf of Wall Street on there too, but I didn't want to go ridiculous. I mean, mafia movies are.
It's historical. You're fair in doing that. I'm almost like regretful I didn't because gangster movies are my favorite genre.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel bad that I didn't do that. But
Well, we can always revise these.
yeah,
lists.
these are off the top. But great movie. Great.
Yeah, I
movie.
actually like it better
Casino
than Goodfellas.
ahead of Goodfellas.
Yeah, I like it better than Goodfellas.
There was that streak where we were watching that movie like every
we would
night.
watch it like every day, and we never got bored of it.
We've probably all of us. We hang out in Adam's basement, which is where we're recording, and we've probably watched Casino down here. I would say at least 40 or 50 times.
It's
Yeah.
been a lot.
and
I
it's
mean,
been on more.
Is there a movie that you have to watch like on like unedited? Like if you watch that movie like on broadcast TV,
'Cause it had
it's,
like
it's
it used to have the
brutal.
record for the most cuss words.
Oh yeah, more than Scarface.
yeah, more than Scarface.
man.
I think Casino was the record for a long time.
Like it used to come on AMC, and like you literally couldn't understand what people were saying.
Yeah, Joe
'cause
Pesci's dialogue
Yeah, he's
was
just like frigid.
incomprehensible.
He's like frigid. Like he's not even. You can't even understand what he's saying.
I like it when I respect it when they just blurt it out or like when
Yeah.
it just,
bleep
I
it out.
hate when they. My least favorite is when they make up other lines.
Yeah,
like
I know.
that is the worst. Or like it's clearly a dubbed like gee willikers or like
Yeah, I know.
like gosh darn it like
But like there'd be scenes where he's like beating someone up, cussing, and like every word would have to be changed.
yeah. Well, I mean that movie is like language left and right.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 300 cuss words in it or something.
I don't think I realized you like Casino more than Goodfellas.
Oh yeah, I think I've said that. I like it better because it's focused on Robert De Niro. And for me, the only thing that I feel like about Goodfellas that's not as good as Casino is Ray Liotta's performance. Because I mean, I feel like the two best things in that movie are Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. And then you put them in
I
Casino.
like Ray Liotta in that.
You didn't like Ray Liotta in the movie?
he's
No, I
great.
like him in the movie, but he's not as good as De Niro or Pesci. That's all it is. Nobody is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I
Goodfellas-
love Casino. I've seen that. So
I mean,
many-
Goodfellas is, I think maybe a better movie, but Casino is a more entertaining film.
Casino is great.
I mean, Casino, there were just some scenes like, there was just too many good scenes to even go over. Like where he has to sit down with no pants on so they don't get a crease in them.
I know.
I mean, that is just...
And the classic scene where he's out in the desert. I thought my chances were about 50-50. And then he sees Joe Pesci screaming up there. And
That's so
I like it when he's at the gambling committee meeting and they don't even give him like the time of day and he starts cussing them out. And stuff like
dinner? Give me that at least.
Maybe I should explain what it is exactly that I do. He's so good. That's a classic. Sharon Stone kind of like gets on my nerves a little bit.
Didn't she get an Oscar for that?
She did.
Not?
I think she's very good in it. But
I think she's good because she portrayed the annoying wife.
Exactly.
And I mean, she did a good job with it.
She did. I mean, she's good, but I don't think there's I don't know. I like Lorraine Bracco and Goodfellas a lot better, but it's a great movie. Do we do your number one?
Yep.
Is Leto's Video Jimmy number one?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, those are our lists.
Yeah. So I think we're going to do this movie trivia.
Yeah, I got some trivia up here. I got 40 questions up here, but I'll just pick a few at random. I don't know how many you want to do. I'll just do.
So if they're multiple choice, we're going to have him not give us the multiple choice first, and then if we can't get it, then he can do that.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to try and do hard mode.
We're doing hard mode.
All right. I picked one at random. All right. The first question is, who was the only surviving Camp Crystal Lake counselor in the original Friday the 13th
I
of
was
1980?
just watching this.
Oh
I was just watching this on TV literally 2 days ago.
I have no idea because I actually haven't seen.
Do you want me to give you the multiple choice?
Yeah, give us the multiple because I haven't seen the original in a long time.
All right. There's Alice Hardy, Brenda, Jack Burnell, or Marcy Cunningham.
All right, well, it's not a guy.
So that eliminates one.
I'm going to go with Marcy Cunningham, D.
Whatever, I'll just say Marcy.
All right, let's see.
We don't know this.
No, it's wrong. It was Betsy Palmer.
Oh,
okay.
Right, Betsy Palmer.
That sounds really familiar, actually.
All right, let me pick another one here.
All right, 0 for 1.
All right. Which film featured the final film role of the horror icon Vincent Price?
Oh
man,
my God.
I actually know this one. Give us the choices because I think I can get this.
All right. The Abominable Mr. Phibes, Edward Scissorhands, Theater of Blood, or The Whales of August?
I feel like it's got to be Edward Scissorhands.
I think it is too because I know Tim Burton was a huge fan. I'm going to go with Edward Scissorhands.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, we
That
got
makes
that
sense. I knew it was a modern, like a normal film.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get another one here. All right. Which of the following films cannot be considered a film noir? I have to give you the...
Yeah.
All right. So we got The Big Sleep, 1946. Indemnity. Yeah, Indemnity, 1944. The Lady Eve, 1941. And The Maltese Falcon, 1941. Which are not considered film
The
noir.
only one I know is a noir is Maltese Falcon.
Well, the weird thing is I've seen all of those, and they're all noir except maybe Lady Eve. But even that's got like some noir elements. I'm gonna go Lady Eve.
You're right.
All right, well,
because that's I don't know.
I definitely have not seen all of those.
Because that's still definitely like a film noir movie. It just has comedy in it.
All right. Next one is, who made her film debut in Hitchcock's black comedy The Trouble with Harry?
You gotta give me the multiple choice.
Give us the multiple choice.
Tippi Hedren, Shirley Jones, Shirley MacLaine, or Maureen O'Hara?
I'm gonna go with Shirley MacLaine, even though because I know it wasn't Maureen O'Hara.
I'll go with that too.
You are correct.
All right. Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, we knew that. We definitely were not guessing.
No.
All right. Just tell me how long you want to go on with this, because
Let's do maybe like 10 or 15.
I'm just picking at random here. All right. Next one is, in Disney's adaptation of Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 1954, who played the character of Captain Nemo?
I think I might have seen that. I think I'm going to watch that in my film class in college. Give us a choice.
All right, we got Kirk Douglas, Peter Finch, James Mason, and Alabaster Sim.
I think it's Kirk Douglas.
I don't know.
All right, one moment. It is James Mason.
Okay, never mind. That is not Kirk Douglas. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Wrong.
All right, next one here.
Why did that sound right?
For what film was Tom Cruise accused of having a horrible Irish brogue accent?
What's that film where he comes over? I know this one. We both know this one.
Yeah.
What's it called? He comes over from Ireland with I think it's Nicole Kidman. What's it called?
Oh, give us the choices. What we know.
All right, well, it'll probably give it away. Days of Thunder, Far and Away, Legend, or Magnolia?
Far and Away.
Far and Away.
Yeah, it's Days of Thunder.
Days of
Thunder.
Yeah, you're right.
I was just watching that the other day.
Yeah,
I think we should review that.
I actually haven't seen that.
I really like that movie.
Yeah. Is that Terrence Malick?
Days of Thunder?
Yeah.
It's Tony Scott. It's
Oh,
a
that's
NASCAR
Tony-
movie.
What am I thinking? Days of Heaven? There's okay, I don't know. I want to see that though.
That's like the quintessential NASCAR movie.
Yeah, we got to watch that.
All right, next one. In which werewolf film were the characters named after the famous werewolf horror film movie directors?
Is it that shitty Van Helsing movie? But give us a choice.
That's not on the list. There's An American Werewolf in London, The Howling, Wolf, or Wolfin.
Give us those choices one more time.
An American Werewolf in London, The Howling, Wolf, or Wolfin.
Ew.
I don't know. I'm gonna say American Werewolf in London.
That's what I'll say too.
It's The Wolfman.
Okay.
The Wolfman? Okay, never. I don't know.
Oh, wait. It says George Wagner, The Wolfman, Roy, Legend of the Werewolf. I don't know. That was a weird question. That was a really weird question.
Terrible selection.
I'm just picking at random here. Don't kill me.
No, you're good.
All right. Let's try another one. Which Francois Truffaut film, his second Hitchcock-inspired film, had many similarities to the Angelina Jolie and Antonio Banderas film Original Sin?
Ugh.
Give us the choices.
Yeah.
There's The Bride That Wore Black, Mississippi Mermaid, The Story of Adele H, and Two English Girls.
Oh man,
I have
actually
no
haven't seen any
clue.
of those. I'm gonna go with Mississippi Mermaid.
You are right.
Okay.
Was that a guess?
No, it was. I've seen that. We're just very knowledgeable.
Yeah, we
so.
know everything. I mean, really.
All right. In which film did Frank Sinatra star and sing High Hopes?
Give me the choices.
Guys and Dolls, High Society, Pal Joey, A Hole in the Head.
I feel like it's got to either be Pal Joey or Why do I feel like it's My Pal?
What is it?
You want to go with My Pal Joey?
It's High Hopes.
Okay.
The movie's called High Hopes?
The movie's called High Hope?
Wait. No, that was the song he sang. It was A Hole in the Head.
Okay, never mind.
Actually, it probably would have been my guess, but...
I don't
Would
know.
have
All right, you want to do one more?
Yeah, we'll do one more.
One more. All right. Let me try to find one I haven't picked. I'm just kind of picking at random here. Let's try this one.
Pick a winner.
Which film featured the final film role of horror icon Vincent Price? Oh, we just did. We already did that one. See, this is why I'm picking at random here. We come back to.
You read that so deadpan too.
I know. I'm just kind of just going through. Let's try this one. All right. My bad there.
We know that one.
All right. Before John Wayne won his first and only Academy Award for his lead role as Rooster Cogburn in True Grit, for which earlier film had he received his sole Oscar nomination?
Is this the
The
one?
Searchers? Is that on there?
Is it The Quiet Man?
Searchers is on there.
I think it's The Searchers.
All right. Let me see.
I'm gonna say Quiet Man.
White Man is not on there.
Okay, never mind. I thought he was.
You're wrong, Dave.
Fuck.
Let me see. Sands of Iwo Jima.
Wow,
Ooh,
really?
Man,
Yep.
I have not seen that one.
I thought The Searchers got a lot of Oscar recognition. It probably did. It's probably not
All
for
right,
him.
we gotta
'cause-
end on a high note. Pick a good one, Adam. Just search.
I don't know. I'm just
We should know our John Wayne
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm just randomly
Especially
picking
Dave.
them off this
Just
list
search
here.
through that list and find.
I'm just picking them.
Any Star Wars questions on there?
I don't know. Let's try this one. All right. Okay. In the biopic Man on the Moon in 1999, about eccentric American entrepreneur Andy Kaufman, who was Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
which major event in Kaufman's life was chronologically, can't say that word, placed at the end of the film, but actually occurred much earlier? Oh my God.
Give us I've seen that. Give us the
This
choices.
is a tough one. His Carnegie Hall Milk and Cookies performance, his guest appearance on TV sitcom Taxi, his impersonation of Elvis Presley, or his long-running feud with professional wrestler Jerry the King Lawler.
I feel like it would be the wrestling thing.
Let's.
One moment. You are incorrect. The right answer is his Milk and Cookies performance.
Man, we're just getting destroyed here.
We had a good run early on. Let's
Yeah.
all right, do one more.
All right, you want one more?
We're gonna keep going till we get one.
Yeah, all right.
We gotta end strong here.
Goodness. I really have to find one that I haven't picked. All right. Well, I think I haven't picked this one. All right. Here we go. I think hopefully you guys get this one. Which were the names of the two main wisecracking sidekick robots that assisted Mike Nelson while watching bad movies in the film Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie 1996?
Oh my.
I'm not really into Mystery Science Theater at all. I feel like Sam might be.
Oh no,
All right.
I'm not.
All right. So there's Gypsy and Cambot, Huckle and Jekyll, and Huey and Dewey, and Tom and the Crow. What were the names of those robots, boys?
Huey and Dewey?
I'm gonna say Gypsy and another one.
Gypsy and Cambot.
Yeah.
You're wrong. The answer is Tom and Crow.
Oh, I was hoping one of us would get it right.
Yeah, we had a 50-50 chance.
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
right.
I'm a glutton for punishment. We got to get one.
Oh, I already asked that one. One moment.
In which role was Vincent Price's last?
All right. In the surprise hit cult film The Gods Must Be Crazy in 1980, which object fell from the sky onto a stunned group of primitive Kalahari Bushmen? So what object fell from the sky on a group of like Indians?
Give us the
All right. There's a Coke bottle, poached ivory, a rifle, or a rocket launcher.
Rocket launcher?
I'm going to say poached ivory. No, Coke bottle. I'm going with Coke bottle.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, you're right.
Oh, come on.
I totally knew that one.
You knew that one?
Oh, yeah. Those gods are crazy.
All right, well, that's a good one to end on then.
Oh, man.
AMC, your quizzes suck. They should have been about stuff we know. We knew all that stuff. We just didn't want to seem cocky.
Yeah, that's all.
So, all right. Well, I think we've about covered everything. So, Adam, it's been a pleasure to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, guys. It was fun.
He is back in the States now, so he'll be making some guest appearances here and there. You'll see him around. Other than that, I guess we're all set, boys. So, guys, follow us on all of our social media. We have Twitter, Serious_Critics. We have a Facebook page. We have a Tumblr. So, yeah, all kinds of stuff. And our email is seriousfilmcritics@gmail.com. So send us your questions. And you know what? We'll probably answer them. So that's about it. Boys, good to see you. And we'll see you next time, everybody.
All right.
Let it record like 2 seconds of silence.